Just want to thank all the seniors for all the hard work they've done all year since I've got here. Just constantly working, coming to work every day, just enjoying everything, right? Being able to be student athletes, I feel like they've done a really good job, and they show guys so much in so many ways, right? I know didn't have all the wins that they wanted, but we learned a lot from those guys in losses. We learned a lot from those guys just how to lead, how to continue to fight day in and day out, and very thankful for all of those guys that were seniors that got to play their last game here.
Questions? We'll start right in front of the side, and then go to Zach and Dave on the side.
Fran, aside from Steve's injury, which you've covered, how did we get here that you ended the season with an 8-game losing streak?
We didn't get wins. Nah, you figure. I mean, just look at today, right? Our top receiver going to week 3, week 4, had 5 touchdowns in 4 games. He was out. Top running back, he was out. We shuffled our offensive line the entire year. You're playing with so many guys all the time. Devin Grant still was limping out there today, who we thought would be a big knockout safety for us. Projected to be a first 3-round draft pick, but when the season started, got hurt, never got back from his injury well enough. And just different guys in and out all year, from Deuce Chestnut not being able to play, not being able to be healthy, trying to get the different guys to go in. And you just got to have the other guys in the back ready and the guys ready to play. But I felt like we just continued to shuffle all year long, right? There was a shuffle of guys when you just go and look at it. And when you say the quarterback situation, I think that's on every level. I mean, you go to the NFL, when they lose a quarterback, it's a lot that's done in that. Like, and when you're running the NFL system, it's kind of similarities that happen, which is why we've been working on doing something opposite of that as this next season comes in, things that we'll implement and that we'll be able to do for the next season and just throughout spring ball to being able to work so we won't get caught in that situation. And then we got a bunch of guys that will come in that will be able to help. You want to continue to stack the depth at all positions, so no matter who goes down, it's almost similar and almost the same.
On the quarterback situation, how come you had so much difficulty developing a backup that could operate the offense?
Because they were extremely young and just new to the system, like freshmen, right? Last year, you think Kyle took almost every snap, and the backup to Kyle was Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson left, and he's at another school. You had Jakari, who was down on the scout team, working with us the whole year, so he was running a different offense every week, wasn't exactly in that offense. And then through the season, Ricky was here to try and learn and do things, and Ricky hurt his thumb, which gave us an out that I knew, okay, we got to go get this quarterback, and we knew who could play, and once he went in and we were able to get him, we were confident in that. But we knew that Ricky was learning the offense throughout that time. I didn't expect Steve to go down in week 4, right? If he didn't go down, we'd probably be talking a whole different mindset right now, but he did, and I learned so much through this, though. I'm telling you, of making sure you got 4 to 5 really good quarterbacks, right? Especially when you're able to use the portal. High school might not be the thing to do all the time for that position. Other positions it may be, but there's some things that you got to be able to allow the program to continue to move on, because we can't be like an NFL team or a college team where there's so many young fans and young kids and all people around that. They expected to see something different, so we got to be ready for that.
Zach and then Aiden.
Fran, in the first half, we saw a lot of Dan Valori. You used him in the Wildcat a lot. Was that something you were planning on doing kind of throughout the week? And, was that something you were kind of game planning for, using him in the Wildcat?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do all week. I went and told him that this is what we was going to run and what we would do, and we had a chance to get that rolling and get that done. And then as they moved in different pieces, put different stuff in the box, it just was a little bit of a change up. Still trying to run him, but just got behind a little bit too fast, right?
He's a guy that's obviously been here. He's experienced that Wildcat role before. But what does a guy like Dan kind of mean to you and mean to this program, I guess, kind of going out like that in his last game?
I think he exemplifies Dart. Any player that comes up here today, and you ask them, they'll say Dan works extremely hard. He does everything right. He's on time everywhere. If everyone on the team does what Dan does, we'll reach all of our goals. Dan's a great kid. He's a faith-driven kid. I love Dan. He means a lot to me. I know he leads a lot to his teammates also, but his mom and dad did an amazing job raising him.
Aiden and Chris.
Coach, with just what transpired over the last 2 months, how much will this motivate you going forward?
A lot. I'm very motivated. I'm excited. I can't wait to. So you got the 3rd. You got some next week, signing day. I have a few guys want to go in the portal. That'll happen throughout the month, and don't get crazy. And that's cool. That's a part of the game. January 10th, though, is where my eyes on. All of our commits will report to campus. The 11th, we'll have our team meeting, and then the 12th, we'll get ready for us to be student athletes, right? And want to take full advantage of everything that we have the opportunity of doing come that time. But I'm very motivated. I'm excited about it.
And just what was your message to, obviously you had a lot of seniors to honor today, but what was your message to all the guys that are coming back next year in that locker room?
We get to, not got to. You get to, not got to.
Just what does that mean exactly?
You get to do what you're doing right now. You don't got to do it, right? You get to do it, and that's the mindset and the approach you need to have. Make sure you know that you get to and not got to. I just stated that to them, and I went and I wanted to communicate with the seniors and stuff like that. But then Steve and all those guys took over that room. We got a real good group of leaders coming back next year that I'm really thankful and excited about. So those guys kind of went and they talked to the team.
Will Chris and then Dan?
Fran, when we've talked to you on Mondays, you've mentioned there will be changes next year. How much change do you anticipate on your coaching staff?
I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything irate or just make impulsive statements and things like that. So I will have to go back and sit back and watch film and go through some things and then talk to ADs and stuff like that of giving some expert advice. And then we'll figure all those things out. But right now I'm just focused on there's a lot of recruits here tonight still. Even though it's a record, we got a lot of big-time players on campus and people on campus to go to dinner and things like that. So I'm just living in the moment. When that time comes, we will. But I'm not really thinking about that.
You've said that the 2 coordinators will come back. Is that still the case? And if so, what makes you feel the defense is headed the right direction?
We're just going to watch all the film and go through a bunch of stuff. And then I don't want to make any bad statements or impulsive things. So, I'll deal with that next week after we get a week of self-scout. It's important that you just get and go back and watch everything and just do it the right way. Just overall, I want to make sure I do that.
Fran, looking at the fact that you've leaned on faith always, just what you can say about your faith in this team, their faith in you, your faith overall in God, and just taking a look at what's more important.
My faith is strong. That hasn't wavered at all. It's unwavering faith. I believe the team got faith in me. They understand. They know I'm going to make the right decisions when it comes to giving them the opportunity to go and be successful. There's some decisions that I'll have to make coming up for the football team, for Syracuse, and I'm going to make the right decisions for those. And then I think that their faith is strong also. I think all of our faith is consistently building. That's something that we talk about all the time and being able to go. So that's what I would say when it comes to that.
And then knowing that you get to build around Steve Angeli once again, just what you can say about the fact, I know you said going into the season he has a relationship with every single person on the team. What's it like to build around him as your nucleus, and just what you can say to that effect?
It means a lot to be able to do that, but also in the same sense you want to be able to do that around the offensive line. And we're going to build around that offensive line and Steve. Because if the offensive line is right and we can run the ball consistently, we will never be in this storm that we're in right now. So it's important that we're able to do that, and that's something that that'll be a huge emphasis this offseason for us to make sure that happens, to be able to help Steve, right? So that everyone isn't just coming up blitzing him like crazy and doing things of that nature. And our offensive line will continue to work and get better. They're young. You got Byron, you got Cam, Joe Cruz, Trey Mack, and then we'll be seeing who's going to be the center. It's a bunch of those guys, but we got a lot of guys coming back, and then we got depth behind them. Skyler and all those guys are ready to play, Jaden Man. So we're pretty deep when it comes to the offensive line, and I want to make sure that that's the vocal main point of the team to go along with Steve.
Will Javon and then Mark?
Frank, you touched on the injuries earlier, and injuries that will either test your depth or affect your team chemistry. Can you talk about those 2 things and how injury impacted those 2 areas of the team?
I mean, it did. I just have to adapt better, though, as they do. those injuries definitely affected the team. I mean, you see that from a quarterback perspective, from the wide receiver, and then from the running back, and then got to go and put third string guard at center, and just different things of that nature. So, I mean, that affected it, but can't complain about those things, right? We're competitive. Football coach, you just got to keep going, right? And I got to learn from this storm that was here right now and then be ready to adapt to it and do it the right way next year.
And then with the quarterbacks, you mentioned earlier in the week, Steve, a freshman, you'd like two more quarterbacks in the portal. What does that mean for guys like Joe and Luke and Rich and Jakari and stuff like that?
I'm going to just go back and watch the film. I don't want to make any impulsive statements or decisions or anything right now. You know, the same thing that goes with the coaches. I think they all deserve the utmost respect. They've all done a good job all year. So to just say, I just know that, I mean, the nature of this business is crazy, right? It's a different, it's the nature of the business. I mean, I got to go out and recruit and things like that, but I just can't tell you where anybody stands or anything right now. You know, kind of focused on we just lost, and then I got some really good players on campus that we need to get to commit to be able to help us not go through this again.
And then last two questions, we'll go Mikey in the second row, and then Ashley at
What was the mindset coming into this game? Was it like, all right, let's just get it over with, or was it something different?
No, it's never just get it over with. It was let's go run the ball. Let's be able to run the football and make them stop the run. We got to keep running the ball. That's what we're able to do with Dan and him getting to run the ball and try to get Dan and Will going to run the football, and then being able to run it on the edges and set those things up to set other plays up off of that. That was the mindset of being able to do that.
And after Angeli went down, you mentioned that this team is going through adversity. Considering you guys lost your last 8 games, how would you say your team responded to that adversity?
I mean, if you judge everything by wins and losses, right? If you're judging it by wins and losses, I would say not good. But if you're judging it by life, which they're still going through, and things that have to happen, I just tell them to watch me. We talk about these last 2 months. These 2 months of life are going to be 2 months that they're going to face in the real world. They're going to face as men, right? We're all men and women, and you go through some tough times in life. And I talk to them about you got to make sure you're there for your family. You got to be able to hold yourself accountable because your family going to need you. Y'all could be going through a change of job, not having those things. And there's 2 months of I'm on a job. I really can't stand my boss. We don't get along. These things aren't working. And you got to continue to work. You got to lock in. Right? I talk to my players about family situation, things that happen and go on. We use those 2 months the same way. And I'll tell them, you might be in an argument. Kids, if the family's not feeling all like it's going to work, don't leave the house. Go sleep on the couch. Stay focused. The storm will pass. You just continue to work. So I just took this and I use life. Like in life, we're going to go through things, right? I grew up pretty tough, pretty hard, and there was a 2-month stretch of my life before that was extremely hard, and I made it here. And I know and I believe, and not even just I believe, I'm almost promising that I know we'll make it out of this, and I know our football team will be 5 times better than we were this football season. There's a lot of things that I got to learn from the structure of running the football team, just being able to do things, understanding and knowing how to lose. I wouldn't think that I would have been able to stand in front of them 8 weeks straight and be able to talk, me knowing how much I love the game. I've cried every single loss that we've had my entire life, so being able to do that, I would have thought possibly you can't do that. What would I have to say to them? Where would I be able to be at with them? And if it wasn't for the man above just being there with me and pushing that, then those things won't happen. But these 2 months, and it's life. And we got some seniors that are not going to go play college professional football. They're about to go attack the real world, and they're going to work. And I hope that they can use this and say what we went through, what Fran kept talking to us about, where I'm at right now. I'm going through this with my wife. Let me go lay on the couch. Can't leave the house. Let me make sure I get these things done. And I just take this as life lessons that will help. So we always talk about I want to win the right way. So to be able to build everything and do it all the right way, I'd rather lose if it's not going to be 100% the right way. So that way we have something to sustain on. And I think that as you talk to our young guys when they come up here and they talk to you, all the players on our football team, you'll see we all have the same vision. We all in the same direction. I got to make some decisions and some moves to put them in better positions consistently so they can go out there and showcase their talent. I feel there's a lot of times that I didn't do that and messed those guys up. So we'll make sure that we get those things done. I'm confident in the administration, me being able to sit, talk to them, and get everything straight, get everything done right. But we're going to use these next 2 months as life. And if this could be the hardest 2 months of their lives, then I'm cool with that.
And last question to Ashley.
Coach, you've talked a lot about, what you've kind of started to learn here. Now through 2 full seasons here as a head coach, what can you say is the biggest thing you've learned about leading a football program as a head coach?
There's ups and downs. We had all the ups last year and all the downs this year and everything that you could possibly go through. But I probably learned a lot more this year just from a staff perspective, from the players, being able to keep them motivated, continuously keep them going. I know when the players are at a point where damn near broke now, and how you got to be able to grab and get those guys back and being able to push and go. I mean, it's tough losing 8 games the way they practice, the way I'm demanding that those guys go out and practice. So everybody need to be upset with Fran, but from what they done and how they work, it's a lot that I got from them. But I would just say that I learned a lot about the players. I learned a lot about our team. I learned a lot about how to manage a team, how to continue to run the football team, and how to be able to keep them motivated and keep them working, right? It's easy to do it when you're winning, but when you're losing, it's a little difficult, right? It's hard. It's hard for guys as fans to stay fans, right? You don't want to stay fans when guys are losing. Like a lot of people can't face adversity. They kind of run when it's not looking good. They're going to go the other way, right? So we're just going to keep receipts and just work extremely hard. And I'm learning how to love my players unconditionally. I'm learning how to be there for them through ups and downs. And as long as the players and myself, like, I got their back 100%, and I know they got mine. Y'all see us get out of this storm, and it's going to be pretty fun for us next year. January 10th, everybody start to come back, 11th to 12th, and we're going to work and dominate January. Then we're going to go into February. Then we're going to take it month by month until the football season starts, and we'll be ready to compete. Thank you. Thanks a lot.